Hello, my name is Marcia Johnson, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Together with my grandnephew Ryan, we are Marcia's Crafts. Today I'm making this card for a challenge. It's for the group that I now belong to, the Lovely Stampers under Wendy Cranford. And the challenge was to use Poppy Parade and Granny Apple Green and these sparkly and enamel dots and some any DSP and die cut. And your favorite stamp set. Well, right now my favorite stamp set is kind of the Christmas rose. So that's what I used. And let's get started. I'll show you how I did it. Okay, the stamp sets I'm using are Christmas Rose. It's a 2 stamp. This one's rubber. These are photopolymer. And then I'm just using the Magnolia Blooms for the Happy Birthday. I don't even know if this is still available yet, but any Happy Birthday that's kind of the right size will do. I'm also going to be using the Tufted Embossing Folder, the Roses die, and I'm going to be using this little guy, this one, and the big rose. Okay, for stamp colors, I'm using Poppy Parade, Granny Apple Green, Soft Suede, some Crumb Cake, and VersaMark. Okay, let's get going. Okay. So I think the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my sentiment. I'm going to do that on this piece of Whisper White, and I'm going to take my embossing buddy and go all over it. And while I've got that out, I'm going to take my quarter sheet of Whisper White and just rub the embossing. Actually, no, I don't need to do that yet. I'll do that later. Okay, let's get our VersaMark in here. And I'm going to just stamp Happy Birthday. And then I'm going to put that aside because I'm going to, well, now I'm going to put the embossing powder on it and then I'll put it aside. Okay, now I'm going to put it aside and hope I don't do anything to it. And we'll put the VersaMark aside for a little bit. And our gold embossing powder, we'll put that away for a bit also. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp our rose. And for that, I'm going to bring in the Stamparatus, which I've already set up. Okay, first thing we're going to stamp is our basic rose. And I'm just going to do that in Crumb Cake. You don't really need to do it because you're not really going to see the Crumb Cake. We're going to stamp over it with the VersaMark later and emboss it in gold. But I just kind of like to see what I'm doing. So that's the way I do it. And when I'm going to emboss in gold, I just use Crumb Cake. The gold goes right over it, hides it. Okay, then I'm going to take my lovely chamois and just wipe that off and set it aside for a little bit. And because the rest are photopolymer, I'm going to put in my foam mat. Just got this new one from Stampin' Up! That's pretty nice, actually. And I like to put that's from Stampin' Storage, but it just gives you a little bit of extra on your photopolymers and actually on your others too. It just seems to stamp a little better, so I use it all the time. Okay, next we're going to use the rose. I've already put that on here. Just put you back. This is a distinctive stamp, and because of that, and this Poppy Parade is pretty juicy, and I haven't used it for a while. So what I'm going to do is take a credit card or gift card and just kind of scrape the ink away a little bit and hope that it helps my stamp come out better. And then you don't press too hard. Somebody calls it like kissing the bunny. Okay, press that. there's a little bit of a light area there, and I'm not particularly fond of that. So when that happens, I just take my Aqua Painter and just kind of move the paint around a little bit. And I think it looks a little better instead of that stark white. Okay, next we're gonna bring in our Granny Apple Green. That looks nice. And in this case, I'm not going to stamp my berries. I want them to be, when you emboss them, they look like they're kind of white stamped with the gold around them. So I'm just going to leave those white, but I will bring in my soft suede and my pine cone, and I will color in my pine cones. So let's get rid of our leaves. And this is kind of hard to do because I can't exactly get my head over it, but we'll just do our best. I like to stamp it off. And it doesn't really matter if it's not right on. We're going to gold emboss over it anyway. Not too bad. Okay, now we're going to bring back in our, ooh, look at me. I am red. Bring back in our rubber rose image and take out that pad because this is a rubber. And I'm going to bring in our, actually I'm going to dry it just a little bit to be sure that it's not wet. Okay, let's put that up in the corner. Bring back in our embossing buddy. And our VersaMark. Be sure that that looks like it's covered, and it does. Okay, we'll get rid of our Stamparatus and bring back in our embossing powder. There's a whole flock of geese flying over my house. It's like 8 o'clock at night. I don't know what they're doing, but they're very excited. Maybe there's a coyote over in the wilderness area. This may be the city of Sacramento, but we got lots of stuff. We got coyotes, we got raccoons, we got turkeys. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and put this back before I make a mess, which I have done. We can emboss. Let's emboss our rose and our little happy birthday that we did before that's been quietly sitting in the corner there. Okay, so then we would do some big shot work. Take our rose, and this leaf lines up with the big leaf, and I usually use my little berries. If you can see it, it just goes right around the little berries, and you'll have everything exactly perfect. So that use that. For happy birthday, we're going to use this. I have some green here, and I want to cut out this little die cut, and then I'm going to also cut out 2 of these in red. And of course, by the miracle of YouTube, I've already got it done, so we'll bring those in. The other embossing work will be to take the 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 piece of Whisper White and put it in the Tufted embossing folder. And I've already done that too, so we're pretty much ready to assemble. Let's get all our bits here. Okay, let me get some glue. And you know, I usually do the inside first, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to take this little guy, put a little bit on the back of this in strategic places. And I'm just going to put that down here. It's 3/4 inch strip of Poppy Parade, and I'm going to add my DSP. The DSP comes from the Christmas rose set. I had to find DSP that had Poppy Parade in it, and I was pretty limited since that was a required element. Okay, then let's just put this right down here. I think that looks kind of cute. The rose die set, that would be my only suggestion, is they add a small rose or something that you could use to decorate your envelopes and your the inside of your card, because I like to decorate the inside, and there really isn't something. You could use part of the big rose, but then you'd have to take it off the Stamparatus, and mine is living there for a while because I plan on doing quite a few of these roses, and I'm not moving it, because once you set it up, you can just, you know, do as many as you want, as often as you want, without having to redo it. And I have an extra Stamparatus, so if I really need it, I can, for something else, I can use it. Use the other one. Okay, then we're going to put our green layer on top of our Poppy Parade base, and then our white layer. And then we have another strip of Poppy Parade and some of that DSP. This time Poppy Parade's at 1 inch, and the other one is at 3/4 of an inch, both by 4, I believe. As usual, the dimensions are listed below. And if you'd like to purchase any of these products, please consider doing so at marshajohnson.stampinup.net. I'm going to start doing a host code and some prizes and stuff, but I'm just barely starting, so haven't quite gotten to that yet. We're going to, I wanted a frame for this, and I didn't have one that was as small as I wanted it. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this in half this way, and cut this in half this way. And I'm going to kind of make my own, which turned out to be a little more challenging than usual, but it worked. So I'll put some glue on each end, and I'm going to mount this just a little bit in. I'm probably off screen, so let's move up just a little bit in from that. Okay. And this the same, about the same width from the other end. Okay. And then I just thought, oh, we'll just put these on, but it didn't quite work like I thought, but I figured it out. So put a little bit of glue at the top and a little bit of glue at the bottom. And I just mounted them so that they matched right about there. And on the other end, now that I put my glue all over the paper, okay, there. And then, get a longer scissors here. I just want to trim them about as wide as the ends. And if it's not exact, hey, you know, it's homemade, not Hallmark, right? Not perfect, but it'll do. Okay, so then we're going to mount that on here, and because I've got several layers of cardstock, we're just going to put it straight down. A little bit from the right end, about equidistant top to bottom. Okay, and then we're going to put the whole thing on the bottom part of the card. To tell you the truth, I tried to do the whole thing DSP, and it was just too much, so this is how I got my DSP on my card. Okay, then we're going to take a bunch of dimensionals and put them all around. Okay, and then I want to mount it kind of like this, maybe with the berries just hitting the top of the label there. Okay, don't those berries look cute? White, I like them that way. Maybe you could put a little teeny bit of puff paint in them. That might be interesting, but we're not going to try that today. Okay, now to meet my final requirement, I need some of these lovely glitter enamel dots. That's what they are. And I think I'll take one. Oops, maybe I'll take the tweezers. I have the tweezers here. I don't know where my pokey tool is. Okay, I'm going to put that one here. This one up here, and the tiny one way over here. Okay, and that's our card. I did not decorate an envelope, but I was thinking what you could do is take your envelope and just put this DSP on the back, cut around the edge, and that would be a very pretty envelope. So I might do that later, but we'll see. Anyway, this is our card for today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, maybe you could give us a thumbs up or subscribe or share. That's great too. Thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you next time. Have a great day.